Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Kelvin, and the show we are on Drummers Hub Live Show, and we are having one of the uh, most respected musician on set today. His name is I call him Boss Ochoku Abuwa. So it's a privilege to have him on set today. And the next voice you're going to be hearing now is my boss on set.
Hello,
Hello, good evening,
everyone.
sir.
Good evening, Kelvin. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. It's nice to have you on set, sir. Thank you so much for giving us the audience.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you, sir. Okay, in the next few minutes, we would like to. There are a lot of people that don't really know you. So we would like you to introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself. Thank you, sir.
All right, everyone. Thanks again, Kelvin. It's an honor to be here. My name is Ochoku, like you rightly said. Um, I'm a musician. I started out playing the drums back in the what year was that? I said like when I discovered that I was really playing was like 1991. Um, and from there until now, it has been a very lovely ride for me. I've always had the opportunity of being in the right places, so to say. Um, I played with a lot of has been, would be, uh, and the A list at certain periods. So I play the drums, and by association, I've been able to pick up certain instruments along the way. I mean, just had this basic understanding about chords, keyboard playing, piano. This is my piano. Yeah, play the bass and some other stuff like that. Um, Presently, the band director for Trinity House. Um, I run my own business, the Jensen Ventures Concept. I, on the other hand, the aspect that a lot of people don't know about me is that I'm also a 9 to 5er. So I do a lot of stuff, everything around music and music business. Happen to spearhead some nice music projects in town, but let's save that just for another day. That's all I can say for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for all this explanation. So now, to save the time, would like to go into the program in proper, and um, would like to ask you first of all. You said you started playing since when? Sorry, I didn't get the date, sir.
Okay, like I said, when I discovered that I was playing the drums was like 1991. I think I've had that knowledge
Wow,
maybe 1990, 1989. Just shortly after my
wow,
dad had an accident. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
wow. That's
So
a
for me, I
long
only say
time.
1991. Yeah, 1991.
Wow, that's been a very long time. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first question I'm going to ask is, what is your advice for a young drummer, someone who love drums and is trying as much as possible to learn to play drums. So, and that person want to become a pro someday. So, what is your advice? What are the important things that such person should know for a foundation stage?
Um. Okay. Let me really hit this one before I answer that question. Um. In the music setting today, what we have is there is no formal entry to becoming a musician. So there is no system. There is no structure. Um, for me, I am that guy who was taught by one drummer from a church. And back then, we didn't have things like you can see. We didn't have stuffs like this with good drumsticks. I remember the first day he had carved bamboos, and made sticks. I think that day we made up to like 12 pairs, and so we'll be using them on our table. So there was no formal approach for me coming into it, and the same lies with more than 70% in Nigeria today, and even worldwide. Um, so if anybody is trying to come into music. I would love to use the word music. Um, I mean, what is this person's angle? If you say the person wants to play professionally, I would say learn as much as you can. You must start with a teacher. You must start with a teacher. You need to get somebody who um, can really like take you to that point where you really want to be. That person that you see your future in. You know, you need to find somebody like that to be a teacher. Because for me, most of what we've done over the years is to take music beyond just teaching the students to putting them on platforms, giving them the opportunities to shine and to play and then to express themselves. So, um, if you decide to be a drummer, I will say I will advise that you, of course, it's easy these days. You can start learning online. You can get a teacher. You can use books. You can, uh, anyhow you want to go about it. But here's my warning: teachers, books, videos, YouTube, and all of that, they're just guides. So, what makes you you? What makes you the best? Uh, what makes you stand out? It is something of yourself that you constantly bring into every drumming situation, and this comes with practice. So when they call a drummer's name, it is not a given. It's not like you just give the title to somebody. The person must have put in some work. So after you must have gone through probably YouTube, the books, teachers, and all of that, I will advise that you practice, put in the work. For in my time, if I like wake up back in the days listening to Dave Weckl as early as 3:30, 4 a.m. Pardon me. Times like that, I will practice so much so that I got the attention of so many people, and then from 7 a.m. I started having people even coming to my house to learn. So learn as much as you can. I think you mentioned something that's taken it to a professional level. I think that's where attitude comes in. That's where networking comes in. You may have a teacher, but beyond that teacher, you need to leverage on relationships. So, what sustains relationships would be good behavior. Let me put it that way. Good conduct and all of that. So, that's how best I can answer that question. I hope I've answered that question well enough.
Okay, yes, sir. Sir, while you were speaking, something came to my knowledge. I've heard of
Yeah.
so many people complaining of so many drummers. They are good, they are talented, but they don't have characters, and that has been one of the challenges we have with musicians. So they think most of them think it's all about being talented, but I believe there's a place for character too. Even if you're talented, you should have a good character. You should
True.
understand that okay, this is just like a job. When you're working somewhere, your character is also very, very, very important. Okay, that aside, sir. Okay, what are the basic rudiments that has actually helped you to build a career in music, the basic rudiments in drums, because there's a particular there's a sound. Okay, hold on. Before you talk,
All right.
let's watch this video. Let's watch this video.
All right.
Okay, sir, can you help us break what you did on that video down? Can you help us break it?
Okay. Um, while that is possible, um, this is how best I will say to you. That's a bunch of stuff happening right there. Like you're hearing single strokes, you're hearing uh, uh, paradiddles, you're hearing roughs, like I think that video I started the solos with triplets, and then towards the end, I think there's this section of the music that I now switched into 30-second notes. So a lot of stuff happened in that stuff. To say okay, break it down, I would just say no. Um, there were some paradiddles. There were
Okay.
some. Let me see. Let me see if I can come that in my.
Okay, hold on,
It's like
hold on. Let's let's just bring it back up. Let's bring it back up so people can.
whoa.
The way you're moving on the drums as though it's something very simple and very easy to play.
Okay.
But
Let me
I
see.
know what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing there is it's not as simple as it sounds. So sir, please
Yeah.
can you just say something about that video, please? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So the way I can say this right now is you'll hear a lot of stuff that will sound like this. I think this video is showing like my right. This is my right hand. Okay, it's showing left on the video. I don't know. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's sounding. You hear things like sing one, and then double stroke on this on the left, which is
Okay.
right. Yeah, there are
Yeah.
stuffs like that in that video. There are paradiddles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so there are things like paradiddles. Like, I'm sorry, let me see if you can actually see the pad. I have my snare here. Maybe I should move it forward a little. So you hear things like,
Yeah. That's paradiddle.
yeah, and then you hear some, so many stuff, some flams, flam taps, basically, uh, and so on. So I did so much in just that short time. um, in that video. Okay, so this is what I will advise. I will say you practice rudiments generally, basically. So if, for example, I'm to practice. So this is everybody should get something like this. Maybe for the snare, I have one here. I have another one, and there on my snare. But this is not what I practice with. So, but whatever it is you practice with, I will encourage you get things like this so you don't disturb your neighbors. Practice, if it is single strokes, for example, maybe you want to start from a very good point. Just make sure you have, there's no perfect way to hold in the stick. Anything can work for you, really. But I think you should also seek guide on how to have your grip, that grip that probably will work for you. And then if you're doing double strokes, for example, I will advise you build some muscle memory with that. And so you do it for a long time. But nothing less for me, I will advise nothing less than 15 minutes. If you use the word, because the word we you used, Kevin, was professional drummer. So do that
Yeah.
for as long as possible with varying the tempos. So you can start slow and so maybe, and then when you do this and you get very comfortable with it, because whatever you're doing, your body is building, absorbing those motions. So I may be there sitting down and doing things like, and then increase the tempo and then stay there for 15 minutes. Sometimes I do that on a track. For example, like you and away,
Wow. Wow.
you and away. So I probably would
Wow.
do this all through that song and put it on replay. So maybe I do that on that song. If the song is average of, or maybe the song is 5 minutes, I just want to put it on replay for 3 times and just stick with that sticking. So when it starts again, you may not find yourself on the beat. but just find a way to lock back on the beat and then stay there. And if it is triple stroke, for example, so I could just stay there either on a metronome or a track, something playing on the background, and then I play over it. I can stay there, and then one thing I do a lot of the times that really gives that stamina is air drumming. Like I like doing this on the air, like hear song and then keep just saying like not hitting anything and then just and all that stuff. So I do a lot of that. So what this does for every drummer is that it makes you understand your limits. It gives you stamina. It gives you endurance. It gives some level of control, you know, on the drums. Mm, those are that's how I can advise because the moment you ingest all of these tickets, like for me, I have essential drum rudiments. I think I took my first one was from the first one I the first one I used was Vic Firth essential drum rudiments, 40 essential drum rudiments, and then in my quest for knowledge and my search, I came across 125 hybrid rudiments, and so I did all of that too. So just cover as much as you can, and then one day, I mean, when you just hear drums, your body will just I know that stuff. You know, there's this good feeling of you saying, I see that drummer is very good. Yeah, I know that stuff. And then you want to flip that, you know, and then give yourself that validation and confirmation that, yes, you know it. It doesn't come easy. It comes with digesting, like studying those rudiments and practicing. Okay, I think your
Okay, I
mic
know
is
if there
muted.
is,
Okay.
yeah, sorry about that. And if there is one thing anyone would want to ask you this evening, the question would be, I know so many young drummers have challenge, they have the challenge of time, and then so many
Right.
also have the challenge of being able to select the most important thing they do at their foundation stage. So you have a lot of people practicing chops,
All
you
right.
have a lot of people practicing reading. So, what is your
Mhm.
advice? What is your advice? What is more important? Is the chops more important than the reading? Is the reading more important than the chops? Should we practice the both the same way? Which is more important?
None is more important than the other. I always tell people to get all the arsenals, gather all you can. Um, the first thing that gives you that you do with drumming is the groove, pockets. Like you just have to be able to play. Um, so this is what we did back in our time. There was not really no internet per se in Lagos around the time I started drumming. So, but then your drum teacher will tell you to play doot, pat, as simple as that, and then you're on like that for let's say maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You're there, and that's how I still teach till date. If
Wow,
I have to teach kids, you know, you just stay
wow,
there locked on it. Now with the advent of metronome on our phones, you can get them just anywhere, even on your systems, and there are softwares all over the place that will sort of help you get that through. Uh, just lock yourself to a convenient time. So if you're doing do pap, make sure you don't deviate for that for as long as possible. Excuse me.
sorry.
Secondly, if it is the chops you're looking for, you see, there is no. I think the best way to go about seeking chops is learn the rudiments. The rudiments are the chops. There is no note within the chops that can't be tied to a rudiment. Let me say that again. There is
Wow,
no note, no note within the chops or a chop that cannot be tied to a rudiment. Every stroke has a name. Every stroke has a name. And so by the time you develop paradiddles, and you know you can conveniently play it at 160. You've developed double strokes. You can conveniently play it at 150. Automatically, 10 to 60 for me isn't that far. I can really jump on anything. Of course, there are usually thresholds. So for me, the next thing to do would be combining them on same note rates. When I say note rates, I'm talking about note values, things like 8th note, 16th note. So, for example, I'm playing the paradiddle on, let me see if I can see my sticks. I'm playing the paradiddle on this tempo. My double stroke should also take same note rate, which would be, do you understand? So if I have to combine both, I'll do.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
so if you do that for example, you're doing double stroke. Maybe you want to combine a lot of sequence. For example, you should do stuff like, let me just do them and call the names, right? Paradiddles. Single strokes will come on like this. Double strokes
Okay.
will be,
Wow.
even
The
if I
same
have to
thing.
play, yeah, same note rate. Even if I have to
Yeah.
do double paradiddles, I'll do it this way. Go,
Yeah.
singles. And I take it to triple paradiddle. It will sound like this. Let me take that again.
Yeah.
So automatically, you know that uh, you've built a muscle memory. You've built something around this that your body has absorbed. So now you put them in varying tempos. So right now, I don't really have to. I'll play the same thing. I don't know. Let me try to put it up to some level of speed. So I start with the same paradiddle, the single stroke, double stroke, triple paradiddle, like.
Wow. Wow.
And sometimes you can still go maybe a quick highlight and
Wow. That's
just like
amazing.
that. Yeah, well, I don't know about amazing, but that's just how, that's just how I will. That's what I'll say to you. If you have to develop chops, if I'm playing stick, if I have to keep the groove, for example, and most of the time these stickings have a way of creating patterns. So by the time you
Mm.
combine triple paradiddle, for example, and single paradiddle, you hear stuff like, where's this camera tilting towards? Okay, here. It's going to be like triple paradiddle first and then paradiddle. One, two, three, diddle, one. One, two, three.
Okay.
One, two, three, diddle, one. Diddle, one, two, three, diddle, one. Diddle, one, two, three, diddle. You get it? So it's like
Yeah.
triple paradiddle and then single paradiddle. So it's gonna be one, two, three, diddle, one, two, three, diddle, one, stuff like that. And then you're looking for chops. You don't have to go
Yeah.
far from this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You're playing
Yeah.
boop, ba, boop, ba, boop, 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 ba, boop, 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 ba, boop, boop, ba. That's the chops.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
the same thing. So it is when you start off with rudiments, the truth is you can't get it wrong because you already have so much vocabularies in your hand with this stuff. So you just find yourself playing. And so that like just that improvisation you played was just me talking pa boom boom kata boom boom pa. And if I will explain that in another way, I'll say I know paradiddles. I know rough.
Yeah.
I know five stroke roll. I know flam tap. I'm just calling those names from within, and then my names are just pushing all of it out. Do you understand?
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
so that's
Wow.
just how I can describe it for now.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Before we move on to the next section, I would want us to listen to. Let's watch another wonderful video of yours.
All right.
This is a clip we had to pick from your Instagram handle. So please, guys, check out at Ochoku Abuwa on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Very, very important. You're going to be blessed, seriously. Okay. Okay, so can you explain to us what you were doing on that video? What are you trying to do? Were you stretching yourself? Was that a rehearsal? Because that for me that was quite that was a stretch and that was amazing. But I would want you to just say something about that video. Oh, hold on. And while you're talking about that, hold on, sir. Wow, wow, wow. Ooh, wow. Please, can you just enlighten us more about those two technicalities that were applied on those two videos? The technicalities that were applied on those videos. Thank you, sir.
Um. All right. Okay. So that video was me coming back from. I think I went for an event. So I went back to. So I just saw. I was passing through my church, so I felt like to drop some of my gears there because instruments will be going for another gig the next day. So um, I figured that it's been a while that I practiced. So I said, okay, let me just sit on the drums. And then I just found I mean, that rehearsal or that practice session, or what would I call it? I think it was a rehearsal actually, not practice. I was just there doing, um, just playing around the drums. Um, there was nothing on my mind. So many stuff came out from that rehearsal section, um, different sections of that stuff. It's quite a long video. I think I was just cutting them and uploading them because um, they sort of appealed to me, kind of, yeah. So um, a bunch of stuff, really. That moment when you are alone, you want to check with yourself if some things are still in place. So that was me checking if I could still do five stroke roll in 30-second um, note patterns at a certain tempo. And so that was just what I was doing. I'll play five, play different bunch of stuff, just bouncing out. There were so many errors, but somehow, I think maybe these days we should start posting the errors. I did a lot in that video, and it was just me stretching. and trying to evaluate myself and to see if some things are still the way they came to me at the initial point. So I was just practicing, basically.
Okay, so um, the next question would be: how do you evaluate for you? How do you evaluate a professional drummer? For you, what would you? Who would you call a professional drummer? At what level would you classify a drummer as a professional drummer?
It's a simple and straightforward line. It is your profession if you make a living out of it. Basically, it is your let's get it right. Your profession, if you make it yours, your profession. If drumming is the thing that will put food on your table, then you're a professional drummer. It's as simple as that. Because I think the mistake people make is to tie your tightness
Skills,
or your
the
proficiency,
skills.
your
Yeah,
skills, to
proficiency.
the fact
Yeah.
that you no. There are a lot of people that can play very, very well. I think yesterday I attended a friend's birthday. No, we just did. There was this party for a friend, and when we got there, just seeing me, everybody were just screaming, "Ochuku, Ochuku, Ochuku," and all of that. I what somehow I got on the drums and then I just started playing. But little did they know that I, of course, I'm not really hitting as hard as I used to.
It's too,
I just know that myself, but it's I, there are lots of drummers like myself who really don't. I don't work with any artists presently. I just direct the band. I teach. I own my own band and stuffs like that. So
wow.
there I coordinate and then we play. Till today, I'm still open. I still play gigs.
Wow.
Um, but um, if you want to be a professional drummer, you build your world around drumming. You wake up in the morning. If you're the type that prays, you pray. And after that, you take this up. You take up your profession. You practice. You have a gig, you learn the songs. You learn the songs. Uh, you organize yourself, your drumming. You don't want to show up at your rehearsal unprepared. You need to rehearse very well at home. So when you get to um, your practice, you and the band will sing together. You don't want to be the weakling when you get to your band rehearsal or practice. So I think it is important for anybody who wants to make drumming his or her profession to invest energy, invest time, invest your resources in it. Uh, buy your stuff. For this snares, things like this, I have a lot of them. For drums, I have a lot. So you invest in your craft because it is bringing in money, and so you invest in. You want to have a variety of snares, for example, to work with. You want to have a variety of drums to work with. Um, you buy gears. You update yourself technologically to understand the current technology behind drumming. You should be able to on your own just study how to use the Roland SPDS, for example. You want to know the difference between the Roland SPDS from the Yamaha DTX multi 12 pad, and know how all these devices come together, how you can see them and just conveniently use them. I mean, what I'm saying in essence is study. You have to be able to keep up with the current trend of things. You have to network. You have to seek out opportunities. And again, if anyone is handed over to you, just make sure you don't blow it. You don't ruin it, either by way of character or by proficiency, like delivering on the job. So um, that's uh, that's one angle. So a bunch of stuff makes it is not all of this stuff. I mean, if you say drumming is your profession, it means it is what puts food. It is what you do for a
Wow.
living. it is what it
Wow.
is. Shikina.
Wow. Thank you so much for the explanation, sir. That was really, really very likely. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
One other question I want to ask is, I know this will be in the mind of so many people. The question is,
Hmm.
how do I score songs? Because I see a lot of drummers and then they pick the song like Rain on Us by John Piquet, you hear the way Calvin was playing. Now, I've been trying to score the song all my life, but I still don't know what to do. So, how do I score songs? What's the secret behind scoring songs? This is for all drummers out there, sir, asking, what is the secret behind scoring drums? The young ones, the young drummers. Thank you so much.
All right. To be honest, you can't give what you don't have. First of all, two, you are what you practice. If you practice in a sloppy fashion, you will sound sloppy. If your rehearsal sections will cover reading, listening, um, practicing rudiments, and all those stuff, because you see, when you hear "Rain on Us," for example, by John Pickey, that song you mentioned, I played that song like year 2000. I think that song came
Wow.
out 1998. I played that song year 2000. And it was
Wow.
because I saw somebody attempting to score the song. Somebody by the name Samuel Ibe. We call him Small Sam back then. He's now
Yeah,
in
small
South
sound.
Africa. So we're both in one room, and he was scoring the song, and then he worked on the song to a point, and he went home. And after that, I decided to take the mantle upon myself. So after Sam played that song, um, interestingly, we both played it differently
Wow.
in the end. So some people can hear and play. You can play, it will sound the same like what's on tape. Some
Yeah.
people can really play, it sounds the same like it is on tape. The dynamics, volume, and all of that, everything is clean. But the technique, which is probably the stickings,
Yes,
the
sir.
approach, the method, may be different, because I knew how he went about the song, because I was we were both together in one room. And then for some reason he traveled to Abuja when the song was to be played again. And so May, the music director at the time at Word of Life, called on me and said, Ochoku, please, we need you to help us play the song. And then I went there and I delivered that song. So how that happened is this. Sam had his own methods, stickings and all of that. I had mine. What was important was that the song sounded. Yeah, and the interesting thing was that um, we really did not have the video like it is rampant these days, you know.
Oh,
And
wow.
till today, if you tell me to play that song, if I have to score that song, I will still repeat what I played back then. And
Hmm.
I can use that method to still play that song. So there's no right way, there's no wrong way, provided the song sounds as as original, you know, as it is in the tape. That's what I would say. But on the other hand, now that we have videos to back things up, those videos, if you've taken time again, like I said, to practice these stickings, just digest or just work on the essential 40 rudiments. Maybe you go to the VicFaith website, or you can just put that on Google and you find it a PDF file. If you can use that, right, and you've mastered this stuff, you're able to combine and mix those stickings. When you hear people play, automatically you will just know what the thing is all about. Do you understand? You will know what it is
So,
about.
wow. Wow. So there's no magic. There's no magic to it. It's simply
It's,
practicing.
it is all practice. There's no shortcuts to this thing. It's all practice. It's all practicing. Like, you just need to do the time. Just give your time to play. Sit down there. Tell yourself. There are days where I think some good drummers if they don't have anything doing, you can find them practicing 18 hours in one day.
Wow.
They will practice, sleep there. If there is food around, they will eat. When they come back, they will continue practicing. That is what it takes to really get to that point where you now hear song on the go, and then you now maybe you hear, because a lot of drummers are so scared when they hear ta ta tum, ra, ra, hey, I know they play this song. They will now say, if there are two drummers in the church, like somebody used to say to me back then, they will say, Ochoku, now your song be this, Ochoku, now your song be this. No, it's not my song. It's not my song because, interestingly, anybody can do. You can use single strokes, you can use double stroke. It depends, and so on. So just practice as much as you can.
Okay, okay.
There's
While
no
we're
hard way.
done, let's. Okay, I believe we're enjoying this. So before we continue again, let's listen to a wonderful video where the boss himself, Mr. Ochoku, played. Let's watch this again. Thank you. Back and forward, won't get better. Okay, so what did you say? What was the predominant rudiment to use on, on that solo one? On that solo one.
Okay, I would say you're asking because you are a drummer, and I don't know how far you are from these things. How will I put it now? I can't from the top of my head say there's one predominant rudiment. I think those things are just like patterns, because the way my brain was interpreting the song to me at the time, I think my hands are just flipping those syncopated punches, in those fields, and that I was just following it. And that works like that with every other drummer. You just find out that this guy is playing, and he's just repeating one thing in different sound source on different sound sources. Sorry. So you do one thing here. You play the snare, the first thumb, and then the hi hat, and then you repeat that with the floor tom, the second thumb, and the cymbals. Just like that. Those are patterns you just
Same
sitting around.
pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, but because the sound sources are different, because the floor tom can sound like the snare, it will come across like you're doing something new from what you started here. Uh, that's just what that video really is all about. So there are
Wow.
times where um, you don't really need too much to play. Sometimes I can take just double strokes, play and repeat it over and over again, and then you think that I'm playing different techniques, using different techniques. Sometimes I want to play double strokes. The first note will hit the first tone. The second note will hit the snare. So maybe for the left hand, the first note will hit the hi hat. The second note will hit the snare. Sometimes the first note will hit the snare and move up to the first tone. It depends. It's all how you practice. For me, do you know why music is like this? Why there is no right way? All you need to do is play and deliver. Is this? Um, Music is ever evolving, and so more and more styles evolve, because people are evolving. People are more new, more people are coming into the world. So things are always evolving, just like music. Imagine you have just 12 notes on the piano, and you have
Yeah.
uncountable songs in the world. Do you understand? So that's how music is. It's just how it works for you. and that is where the uniqueness of every individual lies. So you're practicing, um, you're practicing. There's some drummers that are so good with single strokes. So when they play it, you'll be so amazed. Another drummer will replicate that sound. Notice, not I did not say the notes. That sound, and the double stroke will sound like the single strokes. Some people will play. Um, I mean, you can use a bunch of stuff. Some people can start creating accents with notes, and then it will confuse you. Sometimes people, I remember somebody said to me once that, that paradiddle diddle, I mean, that's a triple stroke you played. It sound like this, it sound like that. I said, no, it was paradiddle diddle I was playing, because I was playing from the first tom to this. So yeah, and that's how his brain could interpret it. And the day he showed me, he sounded the same, but he was using another technique. He was playing three on each hand, like the first note on the first tom, the rest note on the snare. So he will play one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three. While what I was doing was pa, ra, di, do, di, do. The first note on the first tom
Okay.
and the other ones. Do you understand? So he
Yeah.
used that. That was what his brain interpreted, and then he came up with the sound. I remember also one time, I had a bunch of drummers planning for Make Music. Of course, you know Shaba, right?
Yeah. Inshallah.
Yeah, Shegun. So he came to the rehearsal. The band, the team had already practiced something. And when Shaba came, he heard it, and spontaneously he interpreted everything with single strokes.
Uh,
3 weeks down the line, Caro came to the rehearsal. Do you know what Caro did? He
yeah.
played it. He
Carol.
played what the team. He played what the team was playing note for note. Now the interesting thing is that these are both amazing
Yeah.
drummers. So
Romance.
that's how it
Yes.
is. So everything still boils down to what I'm saying: practice, practice, practice all the rudiments, practice stickings, practice. So now a lot of people, let me chip this in. I learned this a very long time ago. So when they say rudiments, people always believe that rudiment is paradiddle, this. Yes, I agree. Some people will say sticking is paradiddle, is single stroke, is double stroke. I also agree with you. So they confuse stickings for rudiments. So I asked somebody, I said, look, what is sticking? After he explained, I said, brother, let me tell you how I would describe stickings to you. It is the right use of the stick. I mean,
Wow.
this video should help a lot of people. It is the
Yeah.
right use of the stick. So it is sticking. You are sticking this to something. I mean, you are using it. Whether you want to play it like this, you want to do it like this, or you want to do it like this. Some days you see some people do the symbols like this,
Yeah.
the singles,
Yeah.
right? Some days
Yeah.
I'll play the same thing doing my sticks like this.
Wow.
Do you know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are a lot of ways. That's why you see drummers put one stick behind, and then they're still like, you see both sticks still
Doing the
sounding
same
like,
thing.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. So there's no limit to what you can do with it. Do you understand? So let nobody
Yeah.
conform themselves or restrict themselves to, okay, this is how it is done and this is how I must do it. No, you are unique in your own way. If you come up with a pattern that is great, the world will follow you. Before Michael Jackson named a particular dance moonwalk, it was called backslide. And I just stumbled
Yeah.
across a video last week of the guy that actually taught Michael Jackson that step. The who popularized it, it was Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sure.
just study as much as you can, practice as much as you can, and trust me,
Yeah.
man, the heaven will be your beginning, not your
Yeah.
limit. It will be your beginning.
Wow. 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 Thank you so much, sir. It has been a wonderful time with you. And then I believe everyone watching have actually learned a lot, and everyone that's going to watch this later has also learned a lot. So I want to say thank you so much for being on set with us. And I also want to let everybody know that this is officially this show is going to be a consistent show where the boss himself, Mr. Ochoku, is going to be educating us on musical matters and issues. So I would want you guys to always stay tuned to this channel and always check out our updates. And I believe that when you are on set with us on every of our live show, you're going to be blessed. Not just not just that you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be blessed because I am blessed. I'm blessed. I'm actually blessed listening to you, sir, because I've actually learned a lot. And I know I'm going to apply those things to my plane, and I know everyone that is listening is going to apply whatever that you have said to them. And I also want them to know that often, some other time, we're going to come on sets live with the drums. So it will not just be the talking; you also hear him play. So
Talk
on
and
on
do.
that show and do, yeah. So there are not people that talk; they know how to talk, but they are not doing. But this one, you will hear the talk and you hear the do. So once again, thank you so much, sir. I'm honored to have you on set, and I believe everyone is honored also to have you on set. Is there anything you want to say to the young drummers out there?
All right. I'll leave you with this word of caution. Um, make hay while the sun shines. Practice, network, diversify. Soak up from everything you can as a musician. Don't restrict yourself to just one thing. Most of the big drummers you know in the US and around the world, they are people who are they are also known as producers. They are also known as one thing or the other. So uh, diversify within the music space. There's a lot of money in music, and it's there for you if only you take up the opportunities. Practice, be of good courage. Don't be afraid of no failure. Um, Master your art, your craft. Give it your time. Invest your energy, time, and resources. What else? If you're the type that pray, if you're the type that prays, pray to God, and you'll be fine.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So before we finally end the show, I want to play a few of his tracks. So stay tuned and listen. Thank you.